Half a month after the divorce, Ryan unexpectedly found an abortion consent form in Anya's room. The moment he saw her name on it, his eyes went bloodshot, and his entire body nearly collapsed, almost sending him to the emergency room with stomach hemorrhaging. Before his body had even recovered, he rushed to find her. Holding out the consent form, his eyes were stark red. "Why did you abort my baby?" Anya's face instantly drained of color, and her hand instinctively went to her flat stomach. That year, the recovery period after the abortion had left her with lasting health issues, a constant, quiet ache. She took a long, shaky breath, fighting back the tears that threatened to spill. "I didn't love you, and I didn't love him." His ears seemed to suddenly go deaf, buzzing loudly, unable to register any sound beyond his own shock. In the first year after she married him, no matter where they went, he was always by her side, supporting her, affirming her place. She was his wife, the rightful Mrs. Sean, and he made sure everyone knew it. However, a year later, he suddenly became incredibly busy, flying all over the world. He wouldn't answer calls, wouldn't reply to messages. It got to the point where she only saw him in person during the Lunar New Year, and even then, he would leave right after dinner with his family. For 3 whole years, she cycled through anticipation, then disappointment, then despair, until finally her heart turned cold, no longer capable of being stirred by any ripple of hope. The grand villa that was supposed to be their home felt vast and empty, a gilded cage she was trapped in alone. The night she first considered asking for a divorce, she went to the club to pick him up, but she unexpectedly overheard him talking to a friend. "Just a stand-in. Who cares who I marry?" Her heart felt like it was brutally seized, ripped from her chest, and plunged into a bottomless abyss. The air left her lungs, her limbs felt heavy. She stumbled backward, step by step, turning swiftly just before the tears fell, fleeing the place in a humiliating retreat. It wasn't until later that she learned the woman who looked similar to her was Isabella, the woman he had known since high school and carried a torch for many years, his legendary white moonlight. Beyond his lack of affection, his family deeply disliked her. When the divorce hadn't gone through, his mother, Eleanor, showed up at her door. "Are you trying to avoid the divorce? He's rarely come home in the past 3 years. Don't you understand why?" She had tried calling him, had waited for him to come back to talk to him face to face, but each time, either he wouldn't answer the phone, or some unexpected event would crop up, cutting off her chance to speak with him directly. Before she could even find her voice, Eleanor sighed. "The person Ryan loves has never been you. He only married you back then because the elder Mr. Shin forced him. Is there truly any meaning in clinging to a marriage that should never have been?" So his care for her, his protectiveness back then, and those fervent kisses and deep murmurs he had whispered in her ear in countless midnight hours, it had all just been him going through the motions, playing a part. Yet, foolishly, she had taken it seriously, fallen deeply, and couldn't escape. The brutal truth instantly stained her eyes red. She lowered her gaze, her throat feeling like it was being squeezed, unable to utter a sound. After a long pause, she finally managed a single word. "Okay." This time, she personally delivered the divorce papers to him. She didn't know how much time passed before he finally spoke. "You want this divorce that badly?" "Yes," she said, every word clear, her resolve firm. "I just want the divorce. No regrets. Let's be civil." He civilly granted her freedom, never imagining there had once been a child between them. After leaving her that day, feeling lost and distraught, he went to the hospital where she'd had the procedure. He looked confused, lost, as he asked the doctor, How did it happen?" Excessive fatigue and extreme emotional fluctuations led to an unstable fetal heartbeat, and it stopped developing. The doctor opened his computer, clicked on a video, and turned the screen towards him. "This is the surveillance footage from back then." His gaze fell on the computer screen. In the video, a woman lay on a gurney, her face pale and drained of color. A white dress was soaked with blood, staining her entire lower leg, a shocking, visceral sight. And after the surgery was done, she sat alone in the place where she had been separated from her child, keeping vigil by herself all night. That night was her final farewell to the child she would never hold. "Anya, Mid-Autumn Festival is tomorrow. What are your plans? How about we go to Manhwa Club to relax?" Chloe called just as Anya finished restoring a bronze mirror with a Han Dynasty linked arc pattern alongside her colleagues and was about to wash her hands. Anya put her phone on speakerphone and placed it nearby, turning on the tap. "Miss Chloe, I'm married." "So what if you're married?" Ryan's out there painting the town red, isn't he? Chloe scoffed. What? He gets to set fires, but you can't. Even light a candle? Anya, you're just too tolerant. If it were anyone else, they would have kicked up a fuss 800 times by now. Anya's movements paused at the mention of Ryan. She lowered her gaze, staring blankly at the water splashing onto her hands, the ripples mirroring the unsettled feeling within her. Chloe continued venting like a firecracker on her behalf, and then suddenly asked, Anya, why did you marry a notorious playboy like him back then? What happened back then had been carefully managed by the Shun family's PR, so Chloe naturally didn't know the full truth. Anya was silent for a couple of seconds. Naturally, it was because I was in love. Nonsense. Others might not know, but I know you. Your ideal type back then was nothing like Ryan. You said back then. For years have passed now. Who can guarantee they haven't changed? But, all right, let's not talk about him. Anya turned off the tap, pulled out tissues to dry her hands. As for Manhwa, I won't be going. Why? Work. Work? It's Mid-Autumn Festival tomorrow. Is your restoration studio that inhumane? They don't give holidays? The restoration studio did follow national holidays, but the atmosphere of family reunion on such a festive day didn't suit her. So rather than being bored and twiddling her thumbs at home, she preferred to stay at the studio, restore a few more artifacts, and finish the tasks quickly. I chose to work overtime myself. So that scoundrel Ryan is still not coming back for Mid-Autumn this year? Maybe. Ryan had rarely come back in the past 2 years. He only returned for a day or two on Lunar New Year's Day. For all the other major or minor holidays, she wouldn't see a trace of him. Chloe muttered curses under her breath again. Fine, we'll spend tomorrow together. Anya felt a warmth spread through her chest. Okay, I'll try to leave work early tomorrow. Just as she hung up, her mentor, Mr. Sterling, happened to come over and said they had received notification that a batch of bronze artifacts had arrived at Jiangjing International Airport, and they needed to go check them at the Jiangjing Artifact Repository. As soon as the artifacts were unloaded from the plane, they would be sent to the repository. After entering storage, they needed to go on site to inspect the condition of the artifacts and apply for the necessary procedures for their restoration. She heard that the journey of this batch of artifacts back to the country had been remarkably difficult. Besides the director of the National Administration of Cultural Heritage, many other important officials were present at the airport to receive them. It was clear how much importance the country placed on these repatriated relics. The car reached its destination, and Anya followed her mentor inside. Staff were busy processing the artifacts for storage. Anya and her colleagues strictly followed repository protocols, entering the inner sections of the repository with the curator, Mr. Lin, to see the Zilong Ding and the Shang Dynasty bronze sacred tree up close. After more than an hour of inspection, everyone had a basic understanding of the condition of the artifacts. When they finished and walked out of the repository, Mr. Sterling instructed Anya and Liam to go and apply for the necessary restoration procedures. As they reached the office door, Liam seemed to see something and excitedly tugged Anya's arm. Sister Anya, look quickly. That guy is so handsome. Anya followed his gaze. It was Ryan. He leaned back against the edge of a desk, one leg casually bent, flipping through documents in his hand while listening to a colleague's report nearby. The man's sharp, defined profile was striking. With broad shoulders and a narrow waist, his well-fitted pilot's uniform perfectly showcased the noble and authoritative presence unique to his over 6-foot frame. Anya's expression froze, and her gaze involuntarily drifted to his shoulder. The 4 gold bars on his epaulets represented the honors he had earned over the years, and were enough to signify his status and influence in the field of aviation. Anya suddenly remembered the flight information her mentor had shared in the group chat earlier, an international route flown by Airbus. It was the route Ryan was responsible for. Doesn't matter how handsome he is. Why? Anya withdrew her gaze and walked into the office, leaving a single phrase hanging in the air. He's probably worn out. Ryan, the repository manager, has finished inventorying and inspecting this batch of artifacts, and there are no issues. They've been stored. You just need to sign here. The flight attendant handed him another document. The man seemed to sense something and looked up. Ryan? Ryan withdrew his gaze and took the document from him. Seeing he was distracted, the flight attendant asked, Ryan, what were you just looking at? A charlatan. Who? The flight attendant glanced into the distance, but only caught a glimpse of a slender back. Was it her? Did she cheat you out of money? Affection. Uffed. Ryan finally looked up. Something funny, isn't it? You said you were cheated out of affection. He laughed even louder after saying it. Anyone could be cheated out of affection, but Ryan, the great Captain Shun, absolutely not. Ryan tossed the document back to him. You write my flight report for this trip. Holy crap, I haven't even. Hey, where are you going? Anya took the application form and sat with Liam, filling it out carefully. Liam suddenly leaned closer, his face full of gossip. Sister Anya, are you and that handsome guy with questionable stamina related? A dark shadow suddenly fell over them. Anya's hand froze, and she looked up at the newcomer. Ryan pulled out a chair, leaned down and sat, his legs crossed, giving her a sidelong glance. Mind if we share a table? What are you doing here? Walked here on 2 legs. What did the chair ever do to him? Liam's eyes darted back and forth between the two of them. Seeing the atmosphere was off, he immediately stood up and quickly moved to a seat nearby. Anya couldn't be bothered to deal with him and lowered her head to continue filling out the form. The curator, Mr. Lin, returned from the restroom and was surprised to see Ryan. Captain Shun, you haven't left yet? Is there a problem with the storage procedures? No. Ryan leaned back in the chair, watching the woman opposite him with a languid expression. I just came to ask Teacher Ming a question. Anya looked up at him. He had his left hand draped over the back of the chair, sitting in a casual, almost flippant manner. Coupled with the passive-aggressive Teacher Ming, Anya had a bad feeling. Half believing, half doubting, she asked, What question? Is my stamina really that low? Uffed. Mr. Lin choked and sprayed water all over the floor. I'm not a doctor. I can't answer that question for you. Didn't you say it? A pilot's hearing was certainly exceptional. Anya's face remained impassive. Aren't you aware of your own condition? Honestly, I'm not, he said with a devil-may-care smile. That's why I'm here to ask you. Confirmed. He had come to confront her. Mr. Lin finally recovered from his shock and immediately walked over with a jovial laugh. Captain Shun, don't joke. With your build, even a mighty bull would feel weak in the knees compared to you. How could your stamina be low? Besides, I've known young Anya for several years now. This child is very sincere. How could she say something so insulting? Ha ha ha. Captain Shun, there must be some misunderstanding. There's no misunderstanding. I did say it. Ah. Liam can attest to it. She had just spoken without thinking at the time, but she never in a million years expected Ryan to ask her if his stamina was really that low, right to her face. Since he had no shame, she didn't need to hold back either. Mr. Lin was completely bewildered, glancing at Ryan, then at Anya, and finally realizing something. You two know each other? Ryan leaned back in his chair. Yes, we do. Really? Boiled. So you two are? He had known young Anya for so long. He had never seen or heard of these two having any connection. Ryan tilted his chin towards her. She's familiar with this matter. Ask her. 3 pairs of eyes turned to look at Anya. Her expression was calm. We were roommates. Mr. Lin. Liam. The man suddenly smiled. Anya heard the mockery in his tone. No wonder I've been feeling like someone's been trying to pry open my door lately while I'm sleeping. It was you, wasn't it? Anya. Anya didn't want to argue with him. She returned the filled-out application form to Mr. Lin. Mr. Lin, the form is filled out. If there are any issues, please contact me. If not, we'll head out. All right, no problem. Anya put away her pen and left. The office returned to quiet. Captain Shun, you and young Anya. Mr. Lin glanced towards the door, following Ryan's gaze. Did you really used to live together? I wouldn't know. Ryan withdrew his gaze and stood up to leave. I'm not that close to her. Mr. Lin. According to routine, after artifacts arrive by plane and are unloaded, the pilot only needs to cooperate with the handover. Procedures. They aren't required to personally come to the repository. Anya truly hadn't expected to run into Ryan at the repository. The last time she had seen him was on Lunar New Year's Eve the previous year, amidst heavy snow. Because many artifacts were returning to the country recently, their studio had a massive workload. As soon as she returned to the studio, Anya quickly threw herself into her work, without any extra energy to think about Ryan. Anya was busy working until 11 o'clock that night. She took a taxi home. Just as she got out of the car at her doorstep, her phone vibrated. Anya pulled out her phone and opened WeChat, seeing a message from Chloe. Holy crap. Anya, did you run into Ryan, that jerk, at noon? Anya walked inside while replying to the message. You're pretty well informed. As soon as she sent the message, her steps suddenly halted. The entire villa was dark and somber. Only the faint light from the kitchen was reflecting onto the lawn outside the glass window. Usually, it was just her and Mrs. Zhang, the housekeeper at West Hill Peninsula. But with Mid-Autumn Festival approaching, Mrs. Zhang had already gone home for the holiday and wouldn't be back until next week. It was impossible for her to be back now. Could there be a burglar? Anya put away her phone, grabbed the broom nearby, and carefully pushed open the door to walk inside. She approached the kitchen step by step, and the silhouette inside turned and walked out. Anya held her breath, and the moment he stepped out of the room, she swung the broomstick at him. The broom handle was suddenly seized by a hand. What? Trying to kill me off so you can find someone else? Anya froze, looking closer. It was Ryan. What are you doing here? Ryan pulled the broom from her hand, stepped on the trash can lid, and tossed it in with a thump. Can't I come back? What did the broom ever do to you? This is your house. You can come back whenever you want. Anya walked over, picked up the broom, and put it away. But I still hope you'll let me know in advance if you're coming back in the future. Otherwise, I'll treat you as a burglar. I knew it. You just want to get rid of me. That venomous tongue of his hadn't expired after all these years. I didn't know you were coming back. This house at West Hill Peninsula was the marital home arranged by his grandfather. Ryan had only stayed here a few times during their first year of marriage. The rest of the time, she rarely saw him, let alone had him come back here. So seeing him suddenly appear here was a complete surprise. Ryan watched her in silence for a few seconds, then reached up, pulled off his tie, tossed it on the sofa, turned and walked to the fridge and opened the door. In the future, you'll... The man suddenly stopped speaking. He turned sideways and glanced at her. Even African refugees keep more food than you. Question mark. Anya glanced at the fridge. It was completely bare. She put down her bag. I rarely eat at home. If you're hungry, you can find something to eat outside. She was usually busy with work. Aside from breakfast, she usually ate her other two meals directly at the studio. Mrs. Zhang knew this, so she also rarely stocked up on groceries, buying only what was needed for the day and not storing things in the fridge overnight. Hearing this, the man's eyebrows lifted slightly. You don't even drink water? Trying to be a camel? Only then did Anya notice the difference in his appearance. He still wore the pilot's uniform she'd seen him in at the repository that afternoon, but without the constraint of a tie. His inherent lazy unrestraint was released through the loose collar, impossible to conceal. Not only that, a faint scent of alcohol wafted over. Anya's gaze lifted slightly, unexpectedly meeting his eyes. The man gazed straight ahead, his expression calm, without ripple. There was a hint of the languor only alcohol brings in those dark eyes. He really had been drinking. Anya withdrew her gaze. There's a water dispenser on the left. Not used to drinking that. There's a kettle on the right. Boil it yourself if you want to drink. Afraid of being poisoned. She almost forgot. The water the Shun family drank daily was air-freighted from abroad. Their monthly expenses ran into the millions. Ordinary, purified water like this, in the eyes of him, second young master Shun, was like drinking the periodic table. Anya poured herself a glass of water, walked to the sofa, sat down, and pulled out her phone to reply to Chloe's WeChat. I could call an ambulance for you. Mainly showing goodwill, but not excessively. The man scoffed, slammed the fridge door shut, turned, and walked upstairs. Anya couldn't be bothered to humor him. She picked up her water glass to drink, but something suddenly clicked in her mind. Her eyes widened slightly. She put down the water glass with a clatter and rushed upstairs. Wait. Ryan stopped and looked down at her. What are you going upstairs for? To sleep. You're sleeping here tonight? Anya felt like she'd been struck by lightning. What else? She hesitated for a second and suggested. Could you maybe stay somewhere else for a few days? A few days? A week. The man's eyes narrowed slightly. Are you tearing the house apart? It's just not convenient right now. Reason? It's messy inside. I don't mind. No, you still can't. Anya blocked him again. How about you give me a few minutes? I'll go in and tidy up first. She turned to go up, but her wrist was suddenly seized. His hand clamped firmly around her slender wrist, and he casually glanced at the bedroom door before his gaze settled on her small face. Are you hiding something in there? What? A person? It's something you'd be afraid of. Seeing her eyes dart away, the man let out a cold laugh, his gaze turning dark. Don't worry, I'll twist his neck before I get scared. He let go of her hand, stepped past her, quickly went upstairs, and pushed open the bedroom door with one hand. No. As the door opened, a ball of white fur suddenly shot out, leaping straight at him. Ryan felt a flash of white before his eyes, and the next second, thump, he fell to the floor. Anya was startled. 17. She ran up 3 steps at a time and saw 17 pinning Ryan down, frantically nuzzling his face with its head. While nudging, it whimpered and whined, as if begging. Anya was shocked. 17 was usually aloof and shy. Anya had adopted him more than 2 years ago, and it wasn't until half a year ago that he had finally opened his heart, dropped his guard, and was willing to be close to her. But 17 had never met Ryan before. Worried something might happen, she hurriedly called out to stop it. 17. 17 stopped abruptly and lifted its head. It looked at the man in front of it, then at its mommy, who was walking over. Woof woof. He finally reacted, his paws trampling directly over the man's body as he raced into his mommy's arms. Ryan, who had been hit by 4 paws. Anya reached out and caught him, chuckling helplessly at his enthusiastic licking. She rubbed his head. Okay, stop licking or I'll really be drowned in your slobber. 17 finally stopped. Where did this dog come from? At his words, both woman and dog paused. 17 reacted quickly, instantly shielding Anya and frantically barking at Ryan. Woof woof. Woof woof woof. Shut up. 17 was startled. Its fur bristled, and it barked even louder. Anya quickly covered its muzzle. I found him. 17 was a stray she had found 3 years ago. He looked too pitiful at the time, and she couldn't bear to leave him, so she adopted him. The man looked impatient. He got up, found tissues, and kept wiping the spots 17 had licked. You know I don't like dogs. Even though he tried hard to control himself, Anya noticed his hands were trembling slightly. She almost forgot, Ryan wasn't just a germaphobe, he also had another quirk. He disliked dogs. His family had mentioned it. Ryan had experienced something as a child that made him so afraid of dogs that just seeing one would make him tremble uncontrollably and even vomit. His family had taken him to see a therapist, and he'd received treatment for a long time, and it wasn't until he was older that his fear of dogs had gradually lessened. Thinking of this, Anya felt a little guilty. I thought you wouldn't come back. Over the past few years, she had gotten used to living here alone, so she had subconsciously forgotten to include him in her considerations. This is my home too. I'm sorry. Ryan's movements paused, and he looked up at her. He gave a sarcastic smile. I didn't expect you to apologize to me for a dog. Sadly, it wasn't the apology he had always wanted. He threw the tissues in the trash can. Find a time to get rid of it. What did you say? I'll give you 2 days. In your eyes, anything that doesn't have value to you can be casually discarded? Or should I keep it around to be a nuisance? Her heart felt like it was suddenly pricked by a needle. A clearly felt pain. So this marriage was the same for him. Discarded when tired of, without a hint of reluctance. She clenched her fists. She tried to argue but struggled for a long time, finally finding she couldn't even be bothered to argue anymore. Fine. She slowly unclenched her hands, her tone returning to calm. It's a living creature, after all. You don't have to like him, but there's no need to harm him. Ryan finally caught the undertone in her words. Is that what you think of me? Wasn't that exactly what you meant just now? He crossed his arms, looking puzzled. What kind of rubbish high school did you go to? Did the gym teacher teach literature? You really didn't think of getting rid of him? Why would I get rid of him? The garden doesn't need fertilizer. Anya finally felt a little relieved. I thought you were going to eat dog meat. I haven't reached that level of depravity. Who knows? Anya got the leash and put it on 17's neck. I'll find him a new owner as soon as possible. He won't trouble you. She finished speaking and took 17 back to his doghouse. After settling 17, Anya returned to the bedroom. The sound of water came from the bathroom. Taking advantage of him showering, Anya hurriedly tidied the room, trying her best to make him forget what just happened, lest he change his mind and decide to get rid of 17. Her phone suddenly vibrated on the bedside table. Anya subconsciously looked up, and her movements froze. Ryan, you drank quite a bit tonight. Remember to drink some honey water after you get home before sleeping. It was Isabella. Anya's gaze lingered for a few seconds before she calmly withdrew her gaze and continued tidying the pillows in her hands. Ryan came out of the bathroom and saw her tidying the bed. Only the bedside lamp was on, its warm light filling the corner, clearly outlining her slender figure, like a silhouette against the wall. Perhaps for convenience, she had tied her hair into a bun, exposing the nape of her neck, long and pale, inviting thoughts. His eyes deepened. He pulled the towel from his shoulder and walked to the closet to change. Anya stopped. Ryan. The man glanced at her, buttoning his shirt methodically. Something wrong. She looked up at him. Now that you're back, let's talk about a div. Ding-a-ling-a-ling. His phone suddenly rang. Ryan put on his shirt and picked up the phone, and his expression instantly turned cold. Whatever it is, let's talk when I get back. He finished speaking, answered the call, and walked out of the room with long strides. Anya thought Ryan would be back soon, but he left and didn't return the whole night. The next day, Anya went to work as usual. It was Mid-Autumn Festival, and most people had gone back to reunite with their families. Only a handful of people were at the studio. Liam had just started working there and wasn't from Jiangjing. Her hometown was too far, so she chose not to go back, staying to work overtime with everyone. At noon, they ordered takeout and were eating. Sister Anya, aren't you going home to spend the holiday with your family today? I don't have family. Anya's father had been a Jiangjing civil aviation captain, and her mother was a talented artifact restorer. 20 years ago, Anya's mother, as a representative restorer, had traveled overseas with other teachers and leaders to personally escort a batch of artifacts that had been lost abroad for many years, bringing them back home. The captain responsible for that flight was Anya's father. They thought this escort mission would go smoothly, but unexpectedly, just as they were about to reach their destination, the plane suddenly lost control and crashed in the Wolanbu Desert. The accident was severe. The fuselage broke apart and was destroyed, thick smoke billowed, and some artifacts were scattered and lost. Her parents' bodies were never recovered. Later investigations revealed that the plane crash was not an accident, but intentional. There were 3 insiders on board who had colluded, attempting to steal artifacts for illegal resale. But Anya's mother discovered them and exposed their criminal actions on the spot. However, they didn't admit it and became enraged, willing to destroy the artifacts and die together rather than let them safely return the relics to the country. So they had placed explosives on the plane, which triggered severe explosions and fires, leading to the plane losing control and crashing. From then on, Anya was left completely orphaned. She was just 5 years old at the time. Liam was surprised and quickly apologized after realizing. It's okay, it's not a secret. Anya had never deliberately hidden her parents' deaths, and her colleagues who had worked with her for a while knew. But Liam had just arrived recently and wasn't yet familiar with her past. So you've been alone all these years? Pretty much. Since her grandmother passed away a few years ago, the person who loved her most in the world was also gone. She was utterly alone. As they were talking, Anya received a call from Eleanor, telling her that since it was Mid-Autumn Festival, she should come back to Lan Tinggongwan that afternoon. After ending the call, Anya was absent-minded, the food in her mouth like tasteless wax. In the first year after she married Ryan, no matter the size of the Shun family's gatherings or the social events required to maintain relationships with wealthy families, he always brought her along, supporting her, affirming her place. She was his wife, the rightful Mrs. Shun. However, a year later, he suddenly became incredibly busy, flying all over the world. Sometimes he was so busy he wouldn't answer her calls or reply to her messages. It got to the point where she only saw him in person during the Lunar New Year. He would leave right after finishing the Lunar New Year's Eve dinner with his family. He didn't go back to the airline, nor did he return to the West Hill Peninsula. She only saw glimpses of him in photos posted by his circle of affluent friends. For 3 whole years, the total time she and Ryan spent alone together didn't add up to more than 24 hours. The number of times they spoke face-to-face was even fewer. She cycled from anticipation to disappointment, then to despair, until finally her heart turned cold, no longer capable of being stirred by any ripple of hope. When she was utterly exhausted, she didn't want to deal with or be involved in anything related to the Shin family. Of course, Eleanor also wasn't keen on her participating in these events as Mrs. Shun. This was because the main focus of every event was Ryan, not her. She couldn't represent the Shin family. To the Shin family, she was just an appendage to Ryan. Without Ryan's backing, she was nothing. Eleanor's call interrupted Anya's plans. She could only explain the situation clearly to Chloe and arranged to meet up with her after the Shin family dinner. Anya finished the task at hand and packed up to leave work. As she walked out of the studio, she saw the familiar black Maybach parked by the entrance. The car window rolled down, and the man's handsome face was revealed. Get in. Anya was slightly surprised. What are you doing here? Come to inspect your work. You're not the kind of supervisor I have. Ryan chuckled. The rabbits learned to bite back? Anya said nothing, opened the back door and got in. The car started and drove away. As evening fell, Lantinggongguan, located in the heart of Jiangjing City, was bathed in a layer of golden twilight. With pavilions and towers and swaying tree shadows, it was like a classical ink painting. The car drove into the courtyard. As they got out of the car, a housekeeper stepped forward to greet them. Ryan tossed the car keys to the butler and walked into the house. Eleanor's well-maintained face immediately broke into a beaming smile upon seeing Ryan. "You're back." Ryan nodded. "Where's Dad?" "He's in the study on the second floor, talking about company matters with your sister." Anya came in afterwards and saw the mother and son exchanging pleasantries. Eleanor also mentioned the recent plane crash reported in the news. "If you had studied management back then and worked with your father to manage the company after graduation, wouldn't that be safer than being a pilot?" Although Ryan had successfully landed the plane using his years of flying experience, the incident had still left quite a shadow over Eleanor. Ryan's tone was consistently nonchalant. "Well, why don't I just stay home and do nothing, waiting to die, so you can experience the power of a prodigal son?" Eleanor reproached him with a light smile. "You're 26 now, still talking nonsense. If your sister hadn't told us, your father and I wouldn't have known you were back for the holiday last night. She told me not to say anything." As soon as he finished speaking, a handbag flew down from the second floor. Ryan tilted his head and successfully dodged it. Anya paused, looking up at the second floor. A woman in a French vintage collar, belted, dark green midi dress stood by the railing, exuding an air of cool sophistication. Arms crossed, her beautiful phoenix eyes fell on Ryan. "Haven't seen you in half a year, and you're talking nonsense again, are you?" Ryan's expression was languid. "You don't like hearing the truth." Serena came down the stairs, picked up the bag, and hit him with it. "All right, you two siblings rarely get together, both of you. Talk less," Eleanor said with a smile. "You two sit down first. I'll go check if Elena has finished making the soup in the kitchen." Eleanor finished speaking and turned to go to the kitchen. Seeing Anya, Serena's face lit up with joy. She reached out and hugged Anya. "Anya, you're back?" "Yes, Serena, how is your arm injury recovering?" A week ago, when Serena attended an offline car show event, she was nearly stabbed by a man wielding a fruit knife. Fortunately, she reacted quickly and resisted, saving her own life. However, she had sustained a slash on her forearm while fighting him off. Anya hadn't been there at the time. She only found out afterwards from news reports. Serena glanced at the wound on her arm. "Don't worry, the ointment you bought for me is very effective. It's almost healed." As she was speaking, seeing Ryan was still standing there, Serena hit him again irritably. "What's going on? I asked you to pick someone up, and it took you this long." "Ask her." "I'm asking you. What does Anya have to do with it?" Anya explained. "Serena, it was my fault. I got held up with work. It has nothing to do with anyone else." She had thought Ryan had changed his ways and come to pick her up, but it turned out it was Serena's instruction. On second thought, Ryan never spoke about their affairs in front of his family. Even though their marital relationship was strained, if he didn't want to see her, he would still maintain appearances and didn't want his family to suspect anything, especially Grandpa Edward. "Even a busy person like me gets a day off, and you have to work on Mid-Autumn Festival? She's much busier than you." Ryan walked to the sofa, sat down, his legs crossed, and glanced at her. So busy even a spinning top would have to call her big brother. Anya glanced at him. "Not as busy as you." Serena crossed her arms, glancing at her younger brother. "You, who only come home once a year, have the nerve to talk about others?" Ryan couldn't be bothered to retort. He got up and went upstairs. The family dinner began. Everyone took their seats one after another. It was a rare mid-autumn festival, and the whole family gathered to eat together. Eleanor was very happy, and the dining atmosphere was very harmonious. Halfway through the meal, Robert mentioned hiring a bodyguard for Serena. After the accident, police investigation revealed that the man with the knife was Mr. Zhao from Zhao Corporation. Zhao Corporation had declared bankruptcy because Serena refused to cooperate, leading to insurmountable financial shortages. He had harbored resentment and resorted to extreme actions. Serena was now the executive at Everbright Group, and to prevent such incidents from happening again, Robert decided to find a bodyguard to protect her safety. "I found a suitable candidate. He's the son of one of Grandpa Edward's former students, 3 years older than you, a recently discharged Special Forces soldier." Serena was indifferent. "Whatever you arrange is fine." Robert finished speaking and turned his gaze to Ryan. "How long will you be staying this time?" "A month." "That's good," Robert nodded. "While you have this time, Spend more time at the hospital with Grandpa Edward. He's been mentioning you often lately. Anya's movements paused, and she looked at Robert with some surprise. Grandpa is sick? That air disaster hadn't just involved the elderly Mr. and Mrs. Meng. Grandpa Edward was also on that plane. He was the only survivor. After being rescued, he lay in the hospital for 3 whole years before fully waking and recovering. Since experiencing that accident, his body had been left with lingering health issues, and as he got older, his health was steadily declining. Yes, it's just his old ailments, but it's not serious. He'll be discharged in a few days. Robert looked puzzled. Didn't Eleanor tell you? No. Robert paused, looking at Eleanor. Eleanor explained with a smile. This isn't good news. Why tell the children? They're so busy working outside. They have enough worries already. Wouldn't telling them just make them worry more? Anya said nothing. She knew very well that her marriage to Ryan had only been possible because of Grandpa Edward. She was clear that Grandpa Edward's request for her and Ryan to marry was simply to make up for the guilt he felt towards her parents. His survival was solely due to her father giving him the only parachute. Anya's father's thinking at the time was simple. Grandpa Edward was the Director General of the Civil Aviation Administration, his respected mentor, and the hope of the entire Jiangjing. Civil aviation. He carried a great responsibility. Compared to himself, a simple civil aviation captain with fewer burdens, ensuring his mentor's safety was more important. This debt of gratitude manifested in the marriage, a marriage that had never received Eleanor's approval to this day. So Eleanor rarely told Anya about Grandpa Edward's affairs, including his current illness. Dad, can I go see Grandpa? He's your grandpa too. Why wouldn't you be able to? Serena looked at Ryan. After dinner, you drive Anya to the hospital to see Grandpa. No need, Serena, I can go by myself. Ryan's dark eyes glanced at her. On her fair, delicate face, stubbornness and indifference were hard to conceal. Ryan let out a cold scoff, and his chewing became a little heavier. Seeing Ryan was silent, Serena kicked him. Say something. No time. You have time to take other people? Speak clearly. Why was Isabella at the hospital last night? What was she doing at the hospital? Ryan's expression was cold. What do you care what she was doing at the hospital? Isabella's father used to be Grandpa Edward's family doctor, Eleanor said with a smile. Grandpa Edward is sick this time, so it's perfectly normal for her to visit him on behalf of her father. I think Isabella is a very thoughtful child. Anya sat in her seat, head bowed, her gaze lost on the wedding ring on her ring finger. So he had left in a hurry last night, not because he had something urgent, but simply to pick up Isabella and take her to the hospital to visit Grandpa Edward. Her fingers tightened. The wrenching pain in her heart still clearly tore at her remaining glimmer of hope, making her past pretense of indifference look like a joke. Anya ate the meal absent-mindedly. After the family dinner ended, she was about to make her excuses to leave Lan Tinggongwan when a servant ran over to call her. Madam, the mistress is looking for you. She's in the back garden. What about? She wants to talk to you. Sensing something, Anya turned and went to the back garden. Arriving in the garden, Anya saw Eleanor standing by the flower bed from afar, tending to the flowers and plants. She had heard from the Shun family's servants that Eleanor didn't sleep very well, so she usually grew plants like snake plants, mint, and so on, which released oxygen and purified the air at night. Picking some to put in her room could effectively improve her sleep environment and quality. Anya walked over. Mother, did you need to speak with me? Now that Ryan is back, when do you plan to bring up the divorce with him? As soon as possible. How soon is as soon as possible? Eleanor stopped what she was doing, clearly didn't believe her. Dragging this out isn't good for anyone. I know. A year ago, Anya had mentioned divorce to Ryan on WeChat, but he hadn't replied. She had tried calling him, had waited for him to come back to talk to him face to face, but each time, either he wouldn't answer the phone, or some unexpected event would crop up, cutting off her chance to speak with him directly. It's just a divorce. How hard can it be to mention it? Anya, are you trying to avoid the divorce? No. Then what exactly are you doing? Over the past 3 years, he's rarely come home. Don't you understand why? The year you first got married, Grandpa Edward was gravely ill. Ryan only treated you well to put Grandpa Edward's mind at ease while he recovered. Otherwise, given his personality, would he ever like someone who married him with ulterior motives? Anya, the person Ryan has always loved was never you. Her face was filled with shock, looking at the well-preserved woman in front of her. So his care for her, his protectiveness back then, and those repeated fervent kisses and deep murmurs he had whispered in her ear in countless midnight hours. It had all just been him going through the motions, playing a part. Yet, foolishly, she had taken it seriously, fallen deeply, and couldn't escape. The brutal truth instantly stained her eyes red. Anya lowered her gaze, her throat feeling like it was being squeezed, unable to utter a sound. If that's the case, why hasn't he been the one to bring up the divorce with me? Grandpa, Edward feels guilty towards you. Only if you initiate it will it be effective. Anya's smile was ironic. So you want me to be the villain? Before the marriage, our two families already had a bit of unpleasantness. If it weren't for Grandpa Edward, I would never have agreed to this marriage, she said earnestly. Anya, is there truly any meaning in clinging to a marriage that should never have been? I couldn't bear to hold on to it any longer. In this marriage, there was no happiness, no joy, only endless pain. It was like being stuck in a swamp. She had tried to save herself countless times, but to no avail. Then let's release each other, shall we? Anya looked at the woman in front of her. Her eyes were slightly red, full of heartache for her child, Ryan. Eleanor loved Ryan. She never forced Ryan to do things he didn't like. Even when Ryan didn't want to inherit the company and chose aviation in college, she was only worried about his safety. She never truly stopped him. The same went for Serena. To support Ryan in studying aviation, she was willing to give up her own hobbies and interests, and resolutely came back to take Ryan's place to help Robert manage Everbright Group. So, Ryan, who grew up in this environment, was unrestrained and free-spirited, his heart yearning for freedom. Naturally, he was unwilling to be tied down by marriage. Anya, considering you are the daughter of Yunling Meng and have shown kindness to our Shin family, I don't want to say anything too harsh. As long as you go through with the divorce, whatever compensation you want, I can give it to you. For Eleanor, choosing to sacrifice Ryan's marriage to marry her, an orphan, was the thing she regretted most. No need. She just wanted to escape all this as soon as possible. I will discuss the divorce properly with Ryan. If there's nothing else, I'll leave now. Anya turned and left. Elena stepped forward and asked, Madam, wasn't what we just did a bit excessive? I didn't want to hurt her, but I didn't want Ryan to be wronged any further either. From the very beginning, Eleanor could see it. Anya didn't like Ryan. The reason she agreed to marry him was simply because of the Shun family at the time. They could give her what she wanted. If it hadn't been for that incident back then, the Shin family wouldn't have been indebted to the Meng family. Are you suspecting that incident was? Right after that incident happened, her uncle immediately came running to demand justice. Eleanor said with a sarcastic tone, Do you really think this was just an accident? Serena and Robert finished talking about company matters and came downstairs, seeing Ryan working on a flight report on his laptop while sitting on the sofa. Serena looked the man up and down, suddenly asking, Did you and Anya have a fight? She felt the atmosphere between the two of them this time they came home was off. Ryan didn't even lift his head. No. Are you sure? The man sincerely suggested, Why don't you come and hide under our bed tonight to verify? She didn't have that kind of fetish. I know your character, don't I? Serena let out a light snort and sat down opposite him. While you have this long holiday, spend more time at home with Anya. Don't just hang out with those women all day and night, got that? Ryan's lips curved slightly. She doesn't need me to keep her company. How could she not need you? She cares about you so much. I haven't felt it. Serena heard the sarcasm in his words, and her expression turned serious. Did something happen between you two? No. It's just that he's not resigned to it. Then, his phone suddenly rang. Ryan picked it up, closed his laptop, and answered. He listened casually, without any reaction. A while later, he ended the call and stood up. You should worry about yourself more. Ryan glanced at her injured arm. Don't let the next time I come home be to see you lying in a hospital bed, missing an arm or a leg, looking pathetic. Where are you going? The response was the sound of the car engine starting in the courtyard. When Anya went back to the front courtyard, she didn't see Ryan. Serena, where's Ryan? He took a call and left. Did you need him for something? Do you want to call him? Maybe next time. Seeing she was getting ready to leave, Serena said, It's late. I'll drive you back. Anya glanced at the time, thinking of Grandpa Edward's biological clock around 9. Going now might disturb his rest, so she decided to visit him tomorrow instead. No need to trouble you. Serena, I have plans with a friend tonight. I can just take a taxi. Serena opened the car door. Where are you meeting? Minghuang Club. Ah, Minghuang. I know this place well. Serena tilted her head, gesturing. Get in, I'll take you there. Anya didn't refuse anymore and got in the car with her. Manhwa Club. When Anya found Chloe, she was trying to flirt with a young, handsome guy. The young guy's ears were bright red from being flirted with, but he politely refused her invitation. Sorry, you've misunderstood. I'm not a host here. He finished speaking and ran off. Hey, we haven't even had a drink yet. Why are you running off? Anya walked over, sat down in a booth, placed a hand over her head, and gently turned her face back towards her. Why are you drinking? Just a little tonight. I'm happy. Chloe asked the bartender to pour a glass for Anya too. I thought you weren't coming tonight. Anya took the drink, took a sip, and curved her lips into a smile. Wouldn't dare stand up the esteemed Miss Chloe. Chloe scoffed. Anya Ming. Yes. You're not happy. Anya paused, then looked at her. What happened at the Shun house just now? Anya recounted her conversation with Eleanor truthfully. Chloe's temper flared up after hearing it. If it was just about Grandpa Edward's health, why didn't they hire a professional actor to play along? Why? Did they have to come to you? What? Did playing a part also require sleeping with him? Why didn't he mention playing a part when he was sleeping with you? When you were in such pain and despair back? Then, did any of the Shin family say a word? In the middle of the night, you were bleeding and collapsed on the floor. Did you see a single person from the Shun family show up? They think a casual just playing a part can completely wipe away the hurt they inflicted on you. Chloe's eyes suddenly turned red, her voice choked with emotion. They just pick on you because you don't have family to rely on. Anya stared blankly at the girl standing up for her. Her eyes also involuntarily turned red. But it wasn't because of the pain from back then. It was the warmth of knowing someone was always speaking up for her, supporting her. Chloe had been with her throughout everything. She was also the only one who had witnessed all her unwillingness, her helplessness, her sorrow, and the loss of everything back then. Anya pulled her back to her seat and took a tissue and gave it to her. Chloe, it's all in the past. Is it really past? Anya, will divorce truly give you peace? Anya lowered her eyes. Only if you haven't loved will you find peace. But she wasn't like that. Just then, Chloe's phone rang. Chloe swiped to answer and yelled impatiently. Who is it? Can't you see I'm crying here? As soon as she finished yelling, she didn't know what the person on the other end said, but Chloe immediately put on a flattering smile. Boss, no way. My mood has recovered now. I can churn out 100 designs if you want. Okay, you talk. And then Chloe ended the call amidst a string of okays. Chloe threw her phone onto the bar and frantically rubbed her head with both hands. What's wrong? Chloe made a mournful face. The design I drew this morning was rejected, and my boss told me to go talk to the client face to face. And the worst part, the client is also at this Manhwa. Anya and Chloe had known each other since high school. They both studied art and both got into Nanxing University. Anya wanted to follow in her mother's footsteps, so she chose artifact restoration, while Chloe chose jewelry design. Chloe fell onto the bar, wailing, venting her frustration at her boss. The evil capitalist. He's got a good wife, kids, and a warm bed, leaving me, a single dog, to work on Mid-Autumn Festival. Anya chuckled. Okay, don't be discouraged, I'll go with you. Chloe's mood finally improved a bit. She called the client and confirmed the exact location. It was at the racetrack behind the Manhwa Club. The two of them went together. After they entered, they were truly stunned by the enormous racetrack before them. Manhwa, as Jiangjing's premier high-end club, not only had the highest revenue in the country, but was also the first club ever to have a racetrack. It encompassed a variety of entertainment options and venues, with innumerable popular activities. Racing was one of them. As they were about to go in and look for the client, their steps suddenly halted. Isn't that scoundrel Ryan? Anya followed Chloe's gaze and immediately saw his figure in the crowd. Ryan leaned back against the sofa, his legs crossed, his forearm casually draped over the armrest, watching the race on the track with a casual air. Kevin, who was standing nearby, was saying something to him, his expression looking very excited. Besides Kevin, there was also Isabella and several other men and women, a group of people chatting and laughing. Although the Manhwa racetrack was private, its scale was quite large. In the spectator area, there were rows of private lounges equipped with imported sofas and coffee tables. Fruits, drinks, snacks, and viewing equipment were aplenty on the coffee tables, offering a perfect and comfortable way to watch the exciting moments of the race live. Anya hadn't been to Manhwa many times, but had heard there was a racetrack here. To personally experience the speed and passion of racing here, one had to be a VIP member of Manhwa or receive an invitation from a VIP member at the racetrack. Chloe was a Manhwa VIP, so entering and leaving was not a problem. Ryan usually enjoyed racing and was also skilled at driving, and the Manhwa racetrack was one of the most popular venues in Jianjing City. It wasn't surprising to see him here. Seeing Isabella was also there, Chloe started rolling up her sleeves. Accompanied by beauties, he's having a grand old time, she said and walked over with long strides. Hey, Chloe. Anya's hand missed, but she didn't hesitate and quickly followed. Ryan wasn't known for having a good temper, and if these two started arguing, Chloe would definitely be the one to suffer. MMF. Anya covered Chloe's mouth and pulled her back in time. Ryan, this is the electrolyte water I just got from the front desk. Isabella's voice sounded. Remember to drink it later when you race. It'll replenish your energy. Ryan leaned his head back against the sofa, his eyes closed, showing no reaction. A girl in white saw this and joked. Isabella, you're too good to second young Master Shin, aren't you? That's blatant favoritism. Yeah. Hey, I heard you've known each other since high school. Isabella nodded with a smile. Back then, my father was Grandpa Shin's family doctor. I transferred to Jiangjing High School for senior high. It happened that I was in the same class as Ryan. Through this back and forth, we got to know each other. A guy in black whistled ambiguously. Isabella, you didn't come back because you saw Ryan was back for the holiday, did you? No way. Isabella is a flight attendant. She's with the same airline as Ryan, so their holidays should be the same, right? Unless she specifically requested time off, whose mid-autumn festival holiday lasts a whole month. Exactly. Isabella, you and Ryan. You aren't secretly dating behind our backs, are you? Ryan opened his eyes and swept a cold gaze over them. What are you talking about? Is your head made of concrete? So good at guessing. Exactly, Kevin said irritably. Stop being such damn busybodies. How do you expect me, someone who was Ryan's classmate and deskmate, to feel? Seeing Ryan stand up to leave, Kevin also hurried to follow. Hey, Ryan, wait for me. Ryan walked out of the lounge just as the second round ended. Mike got out of the car. Ryan, there are 10 minutes left until the last round. You hold the relay tag. Hang it on the car later. Mike handed the tag to him. Ryan seemed to sense something and turned to look. Anya was standing behind him, her gaze calm. Their eyes met. Kevin's eyes widened. Sister-in-law? What are you doing here? I'm here for work. Question mark. Her expression was too serious, which made Kevin doubt himself. He pointed at Ryan. Here to check on Ryan? Ryan's eyes held mockery. Did you put a tracker on me? Following me this closely? Didn't you say you were going back to the company for a meeting? The meeting came all the way to Manhwa? Anya finally understood. Ryan was clearly doing this on purpose, deliberately avoiding her, and even more, didn't want to give them a chance to talk alone. In the middle of the night, what kind of inconsiderate boss would call a meeting? Still short of enjoying the moon. Meeting Ryan's murderous gaze, Kevin immediately changed his tone with a grin. Ryan, just finished his meeting. Ryan looked indifferent. Who said I had a meeting? Kevin, bro, are you messing with me? Anya was speechless. Then was that WeChat message answered by a ghost? He pulled out his phone, opened WeChat, and turned the screen towards her. Did I reply? Playing the deleting chat history game again. Fine. Anya walked up to him. Ryan, there's something I want to talk about with you. What about? Alone. Then I don't have time. Ryan put away his phone and tossed it to Kevin. I have a race soon. Then when do you have time? I don't know. Anya was angered by his attitude. Ryan, what exactly do you want? Ryan stopped and turned his head to look at her. She was standing on the same level as him, looking him directly in the eye. Her high-waisted straight-leg pants lengthened her leg line. Her long, slightly curled hair, parted 3:7, fell over her left shoulder. Moonlight fell on the white diamond earring in her right ear, like a bright star in the darkness, dazzling and brilliant. Ryan's gaze lingered on her fair, smooth face for a few seconds before he suddenly said, You absolutely must talk? Yes. All right, let's make a bet. Anya looked puzzled. Bet on what? The man lifted his chin towards the group of men in racing suits not far away. Later I'll be racing against those two teams, the yellow and red. Who do you bet will win? Anya followed his gaze. The red team looked calm and confident. The atmosphere was good, while the yellow team on the left was arrogant and cocky. Every one of them looked full of provocation. Opponents who weren't easy to deal with. Anya withdrew her gaze. How is the win/loss calculated? How do you want it calculated? If I win, I want you to spare me 10 minutes of your time. And if you lose? You can name any condition. As long as it's not too excessive, I'll agree. Since he wasn't willing, she would take control of the choice herself. All right, Kevin. Kevin stepped forward. Ryan, you'll be the witness. No way. Kevin was dumbfounded. Ryan, you and sister-in-law are husband and wife. Of course she'll pick you. You still need to bet on that. Who said I'm picking him? Question mark. Anya pointed. I bet they win. No way, sister-in-law. You can only pick one. Then the yellow team. That's even worse. The yellow team is Ryan's opponent. How can you support them? Anya frowned. It's my choice. Why does it matter to you? What do you mean it doesn't? Ryan glanced sideways at her. Weren't you eating quite happily at the dinner table just now? Anya. She didn't mean it that way. Ryan, the injury I got from the last flight incident hasn't healed yet. Are you sure you can race? Isabella's voice suddenly came from behind. At her words, Kevin was surprised. Damn, Ryan, you're injured? Back during the college entrance exams, among the four of them, except for Kevin, the other three all got into Shengjing Aviation University. Shengjing Aviation University was only separated by a street food lane from Nanjing University where Kevin studied. However, Isabella didn't apply to Shengjing Aviation University, choosing to study abroad instead. And now, they all consistently joined Nantian Airlines to work, serving in various positions. So Kevin, being an outsider to the aviation world, naturally didn't know about Ryan's injury. It won't kill me. Is it serious? Why don't you forget about the race? Anyway, tonight was just supposed to be for fun. Kevin tried to persuade him. Cut the nonsense. Go get the gear. Ryan turned and went to the restroom. As soon as Ryan and the others left, Chloe immediately walked over. Anya, your bet is too big. What if you lose? I'll do as he says. Chloe leaned in and whispered a reminder. Anya, why did Ryan suddenly want to make a bet with you? He's clearly setting a blatant trap for you. Don't worry, I won't jump in. Sis, you have such a good attitude. A murmur of discussion came from behind them. What did I just hear? Kevin called her sister-in-law. You heard right. He did call her sister-in-law. She's Ryan's wife? How come the more I look at her, the more familiar she seems? Those women looked at Anya, then at Isabella. Isabella, she looks a lot like you. Yeah, the more I look, the more similar she is. A female voice said pointedly. Isabella, I heard you dated Ryan back then? Isabella's voice was gentle. It was just a naive crush from adolescence. It doesn't really count. Why wouldn't it count? First love is the most unforgettable. That's the existence of a white moonlight. Even if you meet many people later, they can't compare to the impact of a white moonlight. Exactly. How can a stand-in compare to a white moonlight? Don't you think so? Anya lowered her eyes, her fingernails digging into her palms. It had clearly been 3 years, but that sentence from back then still echoed in her ears, like a curse that had trapped her for 3 years, still unable to break free. Chloe noticed the mood of the person beside her and felt a pang of heartache, muttering a curse. Talk, what are you talking about? Every one of you. Your mouths are like bottomless pits. There isn't enough trash in the landfill to block your mouths. You? All right, Isabella said softly. Anya is my friend. Isn't it a bit excessive for you to talk about her like that? The others immediately fell silent. Anya, long time no see. Isabella came down from the steps with a smile. How long have you been here? Why don't you come in and sit down? Anya turned to look at her. The woman's smile was gentle, her whole demeanor exuding an air of serene peace. Working, no time. At this hour at Manhwa, only escorts and hostesses come out to work. You're not a hostess. Why are you working at this time like them? The mockery was obvious. Anya calmly countered. So you're so familiar with their work because you've worked here? Isabella's smile froze slightly. Yeah, Miss Liu, you're so pretty. Business must be good, right? Chloe smiled, looking innocent and harmless. I was just joking. Why are you taking it seriously? Oh, really? I thought you actually worked here. Chloe said with a look of regret. I was originally going to request you next time I came. What a shame. Isabella's face lost some composure, but she still maintained a magnanimous appearance. Let's not talk about this anymore. Ryan's race is about to start. The view is best here. Do you want to come in and watch with us? Chloe glanced at the lounge. Isn't that a bit awkward? We're not that close. What's awkward about it? We're all friends. Don't you agree, Anya? Isabella's gaze turned to Anya. No thanks, I don't have friends who gossip like you. Isabella's smile abruptly turned cold. Seeing Ryan come out after changing, Kevin immediately stepped forward, handed him a helmet, and said angrily, "Damn it, the yellow team is too arrogant. They're almost stepping all over us. You don't know what they were saying about us while you were changing." Ryan took the helmet. What did they say? Kevin rattled off a string of complaints. Ryan, it's the final round. Your driving is so good. You have to help us get revenge. Ryan ignored his snotty and tearful pleading. That group of people just now? Who invited them? Kevin was momentarily stunned before realizing Ryan was talking about those busybody idiots in the lounge just now. Aside from Mike and Rob, who I invited, the rest were all called by Isabella. Although Kevin had organized the gathering tonight, he didn't know any of Isabella's friends. Tell them to leave. They were an eyesore. All right, I'll tell them to leave in a bit. Kevin sensed a change in Ryan's attitude towards Isabella and asked, Ryan, did you and Isabella have a fight? Ryan didn't answer, asking instead, she sent me a WeChat message last night, reminding me to drink honey water to sober up. Ryan glanced sideways at him. Did you tell her about that? Yeah, what's wrong? Are you trying to die? No, we're just a few brothers getting together. It's not something secret. What's there not to tell? Kevin was bewildered. And she was the one who kept asking about your recent activities. What could I do? Did you tell her I went to the hospital? I didn't say that. Kevin raised 3 fingers to swear. Ryan, you forgot. Isabella's father is also a doctor. He works at Jianjing First People's Hospital. Maybe she was originally going there to see her father. Last night at the hospital, Isabella had indeed used that excuse. Ryan disliked women who were manipulative. Last night, she had coincidentally known about his affairs 2 or 3 times, which made him suspicious. Talk less about my business in the future. What if she insists on asking? So your mouth shut. When Anya and Chloe found the client, Mr. Harrison, he was frantically waving a signature blue flag in his hand, constantly shouting, Ryan, my God. Ryan, you are my God. At this time, the race had already started, and luxury cars sped past one after another, kicking up trails of exhaust. The race was in full swing. In the spectator stands, the wealthy young gentlemen who came for entertainment were all cheering for the teams they had bet on. Only then did Anya realize they weren't just watching the race, but also the results of their bets. This was a racetrack, and it was also a giant casino. Mr. Harrison, work is important. Can we talk business first? No. You don't know how many years I've waited to see Ryan race. It's rare for him to come back. This time I must support him with all my might. They really hadn't expected Mr. Harrison, a man in his 30s, to be such a crazed fan. And of all people, Ryan. Chloe held her head in her hands. After a lot of persuasion, she still couldn't get the excited Mr. Harrison back to the lounge to talk business. Anya spoke up. Mr. Harrison, you really like Ryan? Mr. Harrison stopped moving, and only then did he notice Anya beside him. His gaze sized her up. How come you look a little familiar? Maybe we've met before. I know. You're the woman who was walking hand in hand with Ryan 4 years ago. He remembered something from 4 years ago so clearly. He really was a diehard fan of Ryan. Anya smiled and extended her hand. Hello, my name is Anya Ming. I'm Ryan's wife. Mr. Harrison's eyes lit up. Don't you want to know everything about Ryan himself? Anya made a gesture of invitation. Shall we chat in the lounge? Mr. Harrison was too excited to speak. Okay, please. The 3 of them entered Mr. Harrison's lounge together. Half an hour later, the race ended, and the result was without suspense. Ryan won. Ryan got out of the car, threw the gold bar and trophy he won to Kevin, and turned to go to the restroom to change. Holy crap, Kevin caught them with quick reflexes. Ryan, this is a Qing Dynasty gold bar. It's priceless in the antique world right now. He had heard that the prize for the Mingwang race tonight was a Qing Dynasty gold bar. That's why he went through so much trouble to invite Ryan to help him win the prize. Damn it, this guy treats money like nothing. Ryan ignored him. He came out after changing and didn't see Anya. He asked, where is she? Kevin was carefully wiping the gold bar. Hearing this, he said, sister-in-law? I don't know. Maybe she went back. Kevin suddenly stood up. I'll go look right now. No need to look. Kevin stopped in time, following Ryan's gaze. Just happened to see Anya chatting and laughing with a man. Ryan stared at her for a long time before finally stepping forward and walking over. Kevin had a bad feeling and hurriedly called Mike. Mr. Harrison was holding Anya's hands tightly, his face full of excitement. Thank you, Thank you for telling me so much about Ryan tonight. It made me realize I didn't fangirl over the wrong person. You're welcome. Anya gently reminded him. Mr. Harrison, my hand. Mr. Harrison finally reacted and quickly let go. Sorry. I was too excited. I'm really sorry. Anya smiled and said it was okay. Miss Ming, you understand Ryan so well. You must love him very much, right? Anya was silent for a while, her smile bitter. I don't want to love anymore. As soon as she said that, Anya suddenly felt something. She turned her head in confusion and saw that figure standing at the doorway. Her body stiffened. He stood in the backlighting, his face shrouded in shadow, making it hard to see clearly. But Anya could clearly feel his eyes were constantly watching her. You two are certainly having a good time. The alternating light and shadow receded from him, and the man's face was clearly revealed. Even such a simple place can't contain your enthusiasm. Ryan, Mr. Harrison was disbelieving. He opened his arms and rushed over excitedly. It really is you. Ryan dodged with a swift movement, frowning. Who are you? Me? I'm your #1 fan. Mr. Harrison was stammering. Your race just now was incredible. I cannot express how I feel right now in words. I. He quickly took off his jacket, grabbed the pen from Chloe's hand, and held it out with both hands. Ryan, could you sign something for me? Ryan's gaze scrutinized him. A fan? Yes. I came to Manhwa tonight just to watch you race. Don't laugh. I was also a racing enthusiast when I was younger. It's just that for some reason, I was forced to quit. What reason? I get carsick. Ryan's eyes narrowed slightly, his smile holding a different meaning. Since you like racing so much, how about I take you for a few laps? Mr. Harrison's eyes lit up, but he hesitated. But I get carsick. Don't worry. Ryan grabbed him by the back of his collar and curved his lips into a smile. I'll only drive in first gear. Before Mr. Harrison could say anything else, Ryan dragged him out of the lounge and headed to the racetrack. Holy crap, Mr. Harrison is my client. What is that jerk Ryan doing? Anya was worried someone might get hurt. Let's go out and see. As soon as the two of them walked out of the lounge, they saw Ryan's red sports car suddenly accelerate, shooting out like an arrow. Oh my God, help me. The screaming faded as the car sped away, completely shattering the peace of the racetrack. Kevin came back with 2 bottles of red wine, ready to celebrate, and just happened to see the sports car speeding across the track like a dark phantom. He was so startled that the wine bottles in his hands fell to the ground. Ryan isn't going crazy with happiness, is he? Mike, who was standing nearby, said, Idiot, he's gone crazy with anger. Chloe's eyes widened like copper bells. Anya, that jerk Ryan isn't trying to murder Mr. Harrison, is he? Anya. That sports car circled the track 3 full times at rocket-like speed before finally stopping. As soon as the car stopped, the door opened, and Mr. Harrison stumbled out, clutching a trash can and throwing up uncontrollably. Mr. Harrison, how do you feel? Mr. Harrison looked at the ghost-like man behind him with a pale face and gave a thumbs up. Very, very good. As soon as he finished speaking, he fell backward. Mr. Harrison, Anya and Chloe rushed over. Ryan reached out and supported his back, telling Kevin and Mike to take him down to rest. Ryan stopped and turned his head to look at her. Mr. Harrison didn't do anything to provoke you, did he? Ryan sneered. What you should be concerned about right now isn't that, but the result of the bet, isn't it? Anya Mangyu. The man bent halfway down, looking closely into her eyes. Lost. All right, I admit defeat. Tell me, what do you want me to do? Haven't thought of it yet. Then when will you think of it? I don't know, ask my brain. Crazy. So do you have time now? No time. Anya felt utterly helpless. Ryan, what more do you want? Celebrate. In the middle of the night, celebrate what? His hands in his pockets, in a relaxed stance, he said, What? I worked hard to win the race, and I can't even celebrate. 10 minutes later, inside the lounge, Ryan and a few good friends, including Mr. Harrison, were happily celebrating winning the race. You didn't see how funny the expressions of that yellow team were just now. Kevin laughed loudly. Who is Ryan? He was the #1 legend of our provincial racing team back then. If he hadn't joined the airline as a pilot after graduating, he would definitely be in the national team now. Everyone felt the satisfaction of getting revenge, and their mood was very excited. Ryan, tell us about how you felt then. Ryan said nothing. Kevin noticed something was wrong and stood up to walk over. What's wrong, Ryan? You won the race tonight, and you're still not happy. Due to his work, Kevin rarely saw Ryan drink. and even if he did, it would be in moderation. The only time he lost control and got drunk was that night 3 years ago. Kevin could feel his mood was very bad. He was drinking one glass of wine after another, as if he wasn't drinking wine, but water. Ryan tilted his head and looked outside. Anya had her back to him and was sitting quietly by the door, waiting for him. He knew what she was waiting for. Ryan withdrew his gaze, drank it down in one gulp, put down the glass, and stood up. Hey, Ryan, where are you going? Home. Seeing Ryan leave, Anya quickly got up and followed. Anya followed him out of the main entrance of Manhwa. Ryan stumbled, slightly at her call, almost falling. He supported himself by the car body and turned his head to look at her. Trying to murder me? As she got closer, the strong smell of alcohol immediately hit her. She pinched her nose and threw something into his arms. Your watch. Ryan caught it, and only then remembered his watch was left in the lounge. He unbuckled the strap and put it on. Did you go get it? Anya's gaze subconsciously fell on his left ring finger. It was empty. Not even the indentation left by wearing a ring had disappeared. No. She suppressed the heaviness in her heart, turned, and left. Where are you going? Home. The man tapped on the car window, reminding her. The car is here. Anya stopped and turned to look at the black Maybach. He tilted his head, gesturing. You're driving. He finished speaking and got into the car. Anya didn't move. I'm not your chauffeur. Didn't you say you had something to talk about with me? His eyes motioned. Get in the car, and I'll listen. After much consideration, she finally got in the car and acted as the driver. The car started and drove away. Tree shadows rushed past outside the car window. The car interior was silent. Anya glanced sideways at the man in the passenger seat. His head rested against the seat back, his eyes were tightly closed, and weariness was evident between his brows. Neon lights swept across his face, alternating between light and dark. He was like a silhouette against the ever-changing backdrop, as if he was in another strange and fantastic world, going in the opposite direction from her, drifting further and further away. Ryan, tired, whatever it is, let's talk about it at home. Is he messing with her? Never mind. It won't hurt to wait a little longer. Anya focused on driving. Back at West Hill Peninsula, the car drove into the courtyard and turned off the engine. We're here. Ryan's eyes were tightly closed, showing no reaction. Seeing he wasn't getting out of the car after a while, Anya walked around to the other side, tapped on the car door, and called him several times. The man remained motionless. Anya opened the car door, leaned her upper body in, and put her fingers under his nose. Her wrist was suddenly seized. Anya was startled, meeting the man's dark eyes with surprise. What are you doing? Anya pulled her hand back. Thought you died from car sickness. Ryan let out a scoff. Your driving really isn't that great. Then why did you get in? Just as Anya was about to pull her upper body out, he hooked a hand around the back of her neck, pulling her towards him. Anya was again startled, face to face with him. Immediately after, his hand changed position, and his slightly cool fingers traced forward along her neck, returning to her face. The next second, her chin was cupped by the man's hand. Anya frowned. She was about to slap his hand away, but he lifted his arm, which was full of bite marks, and brought it close to her mouth. He used 2 fingers to part her lips, revealing her teeth. He looked at the tooth marks on his arm, then glanced at her teeth and smiled. Did you bite this last night? Anya. Anya Ming. What's done in the dark will eventually come to light. Anya slapped his hand away. So you weren't asleep then? Ryan's smile faded slightly, his expression unreadable. If I wasn't asleep, would I let you bite this hard? Anya sat up straight, her expression unchanging. You're wrong. That bite mark isn't from me. If he admitted he wasn't asleep, then he must have heard what she said last night. If he didn't admit it, then she would simply deny it, and he couldn't do anything about it. Both paths were open to her. Ryan looked at her for a moment before smiling and withdrawing his gaze, saying with a suggestive tone, "Looks like the house is haunted." Anya couldn't be bothered to humor him. She dipped cotton in iodine and pressed it forcefully onto his wound. Ryan's eyebrows furrowed. He was clearly suppressing pain. Anya was quite forceful throughout the entire process. Ryan had the distinct feeling she was trying to kill him with just a cotton swab. After applying the medicine, that arm, which had been a mess of injuries, now looked like a bright red, cooked piece of meat. As they walked out of the hospital, Ryan's phone suddenly rang. He pulled out his phone and answered. He didn't know what was said on the other end. He just gave a simple and hung up. He got into the car, glanced at her, and said, "Have Mr. Finch drive you back." "Where are you going?" As soon as the words were out, Anya regretted them. He never liked her asking about his whereabouts. He raised an eyebrow, with a half-smile. "As long as you bring me the culprit from last night, I'll tell you where I'm going." Never mind. Walking into a trap wasn't her style. Forget about it. Ryan let out a chuckle, started the car, and drove away. The Maybach quickly disappeared into the night. Just as Anya was about to leave, she suddenly remembered the important matter. She forgot to talk about the divorce. Anya sighed. "Never mind, I'll talk about it next time." "Madam." Anya paused and turned to look behind her. "Mr. Finch." Mr. Finch walked over. "Madam, I'll drive you home." "Did Ryan tell you to?" "Yes. Second young master specifically instructed me to safely escort you back to West Hill Peninsula." She had thought he was just brushing her off. After Ryan left the hospital that night, Anya hadn't seen him since. Anya was long used to it, but Mrs. Zhang worried about her instead. "Madam, is second young master busy again? How come it's been 3 days and he hasn't returned to West Hill Peninsula?" Anya thought for a moment. Maybe he's busy giving every woman a home. Since college, Anya had long heard about his philandering and wild ways. Nanjing University, where she studied, was only separated by a street food lane from Shengjing Aviation University. Any gossip from Shengjing Aviation University, Chloe would run back and tell her like a broadcaster, for instance, about the prominent figure, Ryan. All Anya's knowledge of Ryan came from Chloe and other girls. She knew the women around him were countless. She knew he often participated in racing competitions, and every time he raced, the spectator stands were filled with girls who admired and adored him. In his life, Ryan never lacked. For food or clothing, never lacked people who loved him. No matter where he was always the center of attention. So his heart was like a drifting boat, drifting with the current, without a fixed dwelling, forever elusive. Mrs. Zhang looked at her in surprise. "Madam, isn't it perhaps inappropriate for you to speak about second young master like that?" Anya only then noticed her title. "Didn't I tell you to call me Miss Anya from now on?" "Madam, second young master won't let me call you that." Mrs. Zhang was puzzled. "Madam, you are rightfully Mrs. Shun. Why are you so insistent on the title Miss Anya?" Anya was silent. "Only this way can I constantly remind myself that I am Anya Ming, and not an appendage to Ryan Shun. Only this way, when she truly leaves, can she leave gracefully, without any lingering attachment." Anya finished feeding 17 and stood up to go downstairs. Her phone rang just then. Anya pulled it out and answered with a smile. "Chloe, what's up?" "Anya, I have a client here. He has an antique jade piece. It looks very beautiful in color, but he's not sure about the age and authenticity of the jade, so he wants to find someone to appraise it." "Anya, are you free tonight? Mr. Zhang is attending an appraisal event tonight. Do you want to come and take a look?" "I can, but how do I get in without an invitation?" Besides her job restoring artifacts, Anya also used her knowledge gained from years of working with artifacts to do some appraisal. Work on the side, aiming to earn more money. Many people were in the appraisal industry, but only a handful could truly reach the master level. While she hadn't reached the master level yet, over the past 2 years, she had established herself in the appraisal industry based on her own abilities and accumulated a good number of clients. Chloe knew she wanted to earn money to pay off debts, so she would use her professional connections to find influential figures and collectors to secure more appraisal opportunities for Anya. "Don't worry, I'm prepared. I'll pick you up at 7 tonight." "Okay." At 7 p.m., Chloe came to pick her up. When they arrived at the appraisal event, Chloe took her to find Mr. Zhang. Entering the private room, Chloe saw Mr. Zhang, her face lighting up with joy. "Oh, Mr. Zhang, we finally found you." Mr. Zhang saw Chloe and walked over with a smile as well, reaching out to shake Chloe's hand. "Chloe, I've been waiting for you. The skilled appraiser you mentioned, has she arrived?" Yes. Chloe pulled Anya forward and introduced her. "Mr. Zhang, this is the appraiser I highly recommended to you, Anya Ming." Mr. Zhang's gaze fell on Anya. "Are you the Master Ming who, years ago, covered her eyes and could identify all the information about an artifact, just by touching it with one hand?" This skill was a legend about her mother, but Anya had inherited a similar innate sensitivity to artifacts. Anya stepped forward and extended her hand. "You're too kind, Mr. Zhang. I'm Anya Ming. You can just call me Anya." "Anya Ming, is that you?" Anya paused, turning to look behind her. It was Clara Ming, David Ming's daughter. She was a few months younger than Anya. They were cousins. Clara happened to be in the appraisal business as well, and she still believed Anya entered the appraisal industry just to compete with her. Clara clearly hadn't expected to see Anya here, her sharp eyes full of surprise and disdain. What are you doing here? Anya's gaze was composed. Master Clara Ming, this is not your main stage. I'm not obligated to answer your question. You? Mr. Zhang looked at them. You know each other? Met once, not close. Mr. Zhang raised an eyebrow and smiled at Chloe. Since there are two appraisers here tonight, then I'll have to see their abilities first before deciding who to entrust the treasure to for appraisal. Chloe gritted her teeth, but still replied with a smile. Certainly, Mr. Zhang. You're the host. You set the rules. The appraisal event quickly began. There were many treasures, a dazzling array, and numerous experts and renowned collectors were present, appraising and valuing the items. After 2 rounds, Anya successfully secured 2 treasures for Mr. Zhang. Clara Ming, on the other hand, had lackluster results. After several rounds, there was a 10-minute break in the middle. Anya went to the restroom. Chloe was very impressed with how Anya had just utterly defeated Clara Ming. During the event, Anya, you're amazing. You were able to identify such niche treasures. I saw just now, you were the only one at the event who could appraise them. Anya replied with a smile. Just a coincidence. A few days ago, when she was looking through artifact books, she had happened to see those 2 treasures, so her answers were quite smooth. Whether it was a coincidence or not. Anyway, seeing Clara Ming completely overwhelmed by you and only able to glare in frustration is hilarious just thinking about it. Chloe couldn't help but burst into laughter. Clara Ming happened to walk in and couldn't help but curse. Who are you cursing? Clara Ming scoffed coldly, her arms crossed. Anya Ming, didn't Ryan used to come with you to events like this? How come I don't see him today? I heard he hasn't been home these past few days. Her face was full of mockery. Do you know where he went? I saw him at Tianyan Club A. Few days ago, with beautiful women around him, champagne and fine wine, living it up like there's no tomorrow. Oh, right, Isabella was also there. Their behavior was intimate and ambiguous. They were practically kissing. Anya Ming, tell me, do you think they've already kissed? Chloe scoffed. Clara Ming, you really are Isabella's dog, aren't you? Stupid and cheap. After all these years, you haven't changed a bit. Still so annoying. Does our Ming family business concern you? You? Anya held on to Chloe. Clara Ming, shouldn't you be busy kneeling before those company bosses for your father, acting as a stepping stone? Fighting for more chances for Ming Corporation to survive? Why are you gloating in front of me? Ming Corporation was currently on the verge of collapse. David Ming, in order to secure more projects to keep the company running, went out entertaining every night, begging those bosses for cooperation. Every time he came back, he smelled of alcohol. He even drank himself into the hospital a few times. It's a well-known joke, who doesn't know? Anya Ming, why are you kicking people while they're down? If my father hadn't taken you in back then, you wouldn't know where you'd be dead now. Ungrateful creature. Why you adopted me, you and I both know perfectly well. Back then, in order to rightfully obtain the compensation money for Yunlang Ming and his wife, David Ming adopted Anya Ming. For the first 6 months, David Ming was indeed very good to Anya, treating her as his own daughter. Anya was also gradually recovering from the trauma of her parents' death. But not long after, David Ming's attitude suddenly changed drastically. He would either hit her or curse her, and like throwing away a burden, he pushed her onto his younger sister, who was Anya Ming's paternal aunt, Carol Ming. Carol Ming hadn't married. Well, her husband's family had no ability, and she herself was struggling to raise 3 children. So when David Ming decided to give her money each month to adopt Anya Ming, she agreed without hesitation. However, after Anya Ming's guardian changed from David Ming to her, Carol Ming never received any money from David Ming again. Carol Ming was very angry and had even gone to his door to argue, wanting to return Anya Ming to David Ming. David Ming naturally wouldn't accept, and they argued because of this. Both wanted to get rid of Anya Ming, this burden. Carol Ming had no money and no power. Naturally, she couldn't win against the cunning and selfish David Ming. In the end, Anya Ming did not return to the Ming family. Carol Ming was also lectured by David Ming and was driven out of the Ming house along with Anya. Carol Ming was tricked by David Ming. Not only did she not get the money, but Anya Ming's guardian became her. Her already difficult life completely plunged into darkness due to Anya Ming's arrival. From then on, Her relationship with her husband grew worse and worse, and every time she was mistreated by her husband, it would be vented onto Anya Ming. Other people's childhood memories were either delicious candies and snacks near school or warm and happy scenes of the family gathered to celebrate their birthday, while Anya Ming's childhood memories were nothing but pain and hunger and never-ending chores.